So we're in your culinary class, and we're in chapter 6, section 5 now. And now we're going to be talking about elements of planning a party. So how do you put together a party? A birthday party, graduation party, a Christmas party. How do you plan it, and how do you get started? And what are some important elements in dealing with a party situation? So, getting started. When you're planning the party, keep the occasion event in mind. If it's a birthday or anniversary or such, put it on your calendar. And this occasion will influence all the party planning. As the party comes closer, you'll know, okay, we need to figure out what kind of budget we have for this party. How much can we spend on this party? And decide on how to be reasonably in that budget, whether we're going to have it at our house or whether we're going to have it at a restaurant. It depends on your budget. So based on the budget, the size of the space available for the party, determine the number of guests. So you got to have enough room for your number of guests that you're going to invite. And as you make the guest list, decide on a menu and think about what type of service you will need. Are you going to have a buffet type? Are you going to serve them from the kitchen as American style or family style? What is your service going to be like? And also, what are you going to cook? What menu will you have? And you've got to keep in mind that the more guests that you'll have, you'll probably want to have more of a buffet type meal. So if you have a large group, then it's going to be hard to serve each one of them individually. So a buffet would be pretty good for that. So buffets are good because they'll be serving their own food and they'll pick up exactly what they like too. So, and once you have just determined these three things, your budget, your guest list, and the type of service, then it says the fun begins. So now you can think of a theme, the theme of your party, and what would be fun, what would be enjoyable for your guests. You give the theme very careful thought, and this will be important. And a lot of times, being creative is really a good thing for a creative person to put on a party, huh? So you can choose the theme based on the occasion, if it's a birthday or anniversary, or an activity such as a football game or barbecue. Think of or maybe even a fun idea like you're having a costume party or something. Have them wear certain things, or have them be able to share things about each other, or some fun thing, maybe even at the table. So choose colors and decorations that will enhance the theme. Decorations can be very simple. You can have a centerpiece that's a simple centerpiece, or as very elaborate centerpiece. And decorate. You can decorate the total building if you want to. So, and if you can afford it. Music. It's good to have music to set the mood, the atmosphere of the party. Some people have live music, and some people have just music going on during the party. And music, not music that's so loud that people can't talk to each other. So if you choose a theme for your party, remember that the theme should influence all aspects of the event. So if you have a theme, the theme is going to be in everything you do. The food, the music, everything's going to go with that theme. So now the first thing you got to think about is invitations. They should preview the theme of your party on your invitation, so people can think, oh, this is going to be Mexican food. We're gonna have this centered in a Mexican atmosphere, or any other Italian atmosphere, or whatever atmosphere you have that on your invitation. A good invitation will pick the guests' interests right away. They think, oh wow, this is going to be a cool party. You can tell by the invitation. Be sure to budget adequate time for preparing and mailing invitations. So the following information of the party must be on the invitation. You want to know the type of party or occasion of the party, the day of the week, the date, the time, the place, and the name of the person giving the party, or the host or the hostess, or who the party's for, maybe too, especially if it's a birthday party. Include an RSVP. That's optional, but a lot of times you want to give them that. It's called RSVP, means Respondez s'il vous plaît in French, and it means please respond. And so it's good to respond. If you get an RSVP, it's good to respond to them right away and tell them if you can't attend, because otherwise they're going to think that you're going to be there and they're going to plan for more food for you. So RSVP is a good thing to have, usually, especially in a formal party. Here's an invitation here. So let's celebrate Katie's 18th birthday, Hanover Park, Saturday, July 12th at 2 p.m., given by Marie Harris and Lynn Mosley. You can see how it is, what we're celebrating, where, when, and who are the hosts and hostesses. And then down RSVP, it says there, and it gives phone numbers to RSVP so that you can call. So you don't, sometimes they'll have an RSVP note, especially if it's a wedding, and you just fill it out and put it back in the mail, and they'll even have a stamp on you for you to respond. Or most of the time they'll have a little phone number or to text them nowadays to tell them if you can come or not. So, and here's, this is more informal because it's a birthday party, but here's a formal one. So Mr. and Mrs. Eli Matias request the pleasure of your company at dinner on Friday, the 6th of December at half after 6 o'clock in the evening, and then the address here in Pensacola. See how very formal this is, and see how they wrote out the 6th of December at half after 6 o'clock. Very formal like. This would be a formal invitation. At the bottom it says RSVP, and usually they have a number, not a number, but a card to fill out to RSVP. So there are two basic styles as I show you. This informal invitations can be creative and imaginative, but they also contain a lot of necessary information. They should be mailed like 1 to 2 weeks before the event. Don't mail them too early necessarily, unless you're a wedding and people have to make airplane reservations or figure out ahead of time. Then you do want to tell them maybe a couple months in advance. But otherwise, they should be mailed out 1 to 2 weeks before the event. So, and also invitations can be given over the telephone. You can call and invite people if you'd like too. So, formal invitations though should be written in a very specific way. They should be handwritten or engraved on cards and enclosed in matching envelopes. So the center text and write in the third person. Put it in the center of the text and write in the third person. And rather than writing the time as 7:30, for example, it'll be half after 7 o'clock. So just to know, instead of writing the date as March 8th, you'll be writing the 8th of March, just like I showed up there in that page right there, in this invitation right here. So that's very formal. And to mail these at least 2 weeks in advance too. I would say if you're going to have a formal party wedding, it should be more than 2 weeks, just so you know that people might have to travel there. And so they're going to have to find out if they can take off work, if they can get airline tickets, that kind of stuff. So, especially for a wedding, or, some very formal invitations make it need to have more time for people to get there if they're out of town. It is impolite to not respond immediately to an invitation. So if you get an RSVP, you should send it within 2 days, unless you don't know yet, or at least get a hold of them, because they want to know if you're going to come or not. When responding, mention the day, date, and hour of the event in your reply. If you accept an invitation, the attendance is obligatory, which means that if you say you're going to come, you need to come, because they're going to look for you being there, right? So now planning the details, the food. The food is the most important part of the party, really? So it is. And recipes can be found to fit any theme you want. So here's a nice theme here. Magazines and cookbooks and online things, you can find great recipes. But remember to try the recipe first, just in case it doesn't turn out as good as you thought. So try it first before. If you're going to have a big party and you're going to make a lot of food of a certain kind, then you need to try that recipe to make sure it is good as you thought it or think it would be. So when planning the menu, consider the type of meal service. Again, is it going to be buffet? Are you going to serve them? You know, are we going to have a family style? We're going to pass the meals, or how are we going to do this? So it says here, you also may consider taking some takeouts. A lot of times you may go to a restaurant. They'll have for a party specifically, will make food, and you'll be able to pick up that food or have a takeout, or even have them come and help with the food. Sometimes is really good, depending on your budget, right? Those are more expensive. But sometimes not so expensive. If you have to cook all the food, you may be spending a lot of time and money if you just say, okay, I'm going to have this service come and cook my food for me, or actually I'm going to have some takeout food bring in. And then it works out good. So, and you know, then if you don't have to be in the kitchen all the time cooking, then you can have time to enjoy your guests too. So, service details. Plan the traffic flow for the party. So when the meal is ready, the hostess should lead the guests to the table and follow through with the proper etiquette, you know, or if it's a buffet, you know, tell them when they can get up to go to the buffet, or when they come in, whether they're going to the appetizer table, just tell them how to, as they come in, plan the traffic. Additional planning, it says for buffets, first choose the appropriate locations for the buffet table. Where's your buffet table going to be? Where are the guests going to eat when they get their food? Like, where can they sit? And, you know, dining tables or chairs. If they're just having appetizers, they can just sit in chairs. But if they have a plate, they're going to need to put their plate down someplace on a table, right? So, and allow a place where the guests can converse more easily with each other, such as semicircle or clusters, rather than straight lines. For them to sit in straight lines, it's good to sit in like circles so they can talk in a circle rather than all sit in a line. So plan the traffic through the buffet. So if you have a huge buffet, you might need to have 2 lines, depending on how many people you have. So, and plan a place to collect dirty plates and glasses and utensils and trash. Have a place so that you can clear the table of the trash and put it where the trash is, not next to the buffet, you know, so, you know, in a different corner maybe. So if disposable plates and utensils are used, you may wish to provide for easy disposal, but wait until the guests have gone through the line and are almost finished eating before placing the garbage cans out, right? So they maybe have paper plates and everybody could throw away, but bring out the trash cans towards the end so that you don't have the trash just sitting out while they're eating. But in the non-disposable plates and flatwards, they should be picked up, and you have a place where they can put their dishes. And you may want to have a friend help or hire someone to assist in helping you with the cleanup sometimes. So for a large group, you may want to set up a side cart on which the guests can place their dinnerware and glasses when they're finished eating their dirty glasses, so you have a place for them to put it. Okay, going on with party etiquette. Plan how to greet and entertain the guests, right? The host or the hostess should give a warm, personal greeting to each guest as they enter the party. Have somebody greet, right? And provide a place for the guests to socialize. If they arrive early and you're not ready, that they could go into the living room and they could sit and talk to each other and decide how you will occupy the guests if the meal is delayed. So the meal is delayed, let's occupy the guest. You know, we're going to have some conversation or have something for them to do, you know, at a party. Have a seating area that's separate from the dining table if you can, you know, so. Just think about topics you can discuss during the meal. People enjoy another's interest in them. Ask about their family, a recent or future vacation, something of their interest, to talk about, maybe questions. Sometimes it's even fun to play games, so. Everyone at the party should contribute to the conversation and not be burdened by one person doing all the talking, right? Or maybe one person not able to even say a word. It's like a ghost sitting there with nobody talking. Make sure everybody gets to talk. When speaking with others, avoid mentioning unpleasant or awkward situations. Keep your conversation appropriate, kind, and very polite. Make sure you're talking politely. Don't, at the table decide to get mad at your mom or mad at your brothers and sisters at the table. It's not a good time to do that. Once the meal has been served and enjoyed by all the guests, the hostess should graciously end that portion of the party to help the guests feel comfortable to leave, right? Like, okay, yes, we're going to do some cleanup. You can leave if you want to, or you can hang on if you want to and help, whatever, But to signal that the meal is coming to the end, the hostess should loosely fold and lay her napkin to the left of her plate. She then will thank her guests. When she thanks her guest, or he thanks the guest, then that's the end of the meal, right? So she'll think, I just want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you so much. And she'll push her chair back from the table and rise up. Then that's the end of the meal. And some cases she may say, oh, if you'd like to, you can continue visiting in the living room. That's a good way. Maybe in the living room be a time for opening gifts. So she say, let's go to the living room out now, and we'll do some opening of the gifts, or bringing in the living room to do something else, and maybe part of the party. Bring them to the living room to be able to converse with each other, but also tell them if there's some other part of the party that's going to be going on. And also, when they come in with their coats, have a special place to put their coats. And then when they're leaving, you can actually go and have someone or yourself pick up the coats and bring them their coats. And they won't have to go into the bedrooms or wherever you put them to find them. So the process of leaving the meal should not be done abruptly. It should be very gradually, as they leave. They can hang out for a bit, Taking care of details. Hosting a great party is much easier if you make lists and plans to plan ahead. Plan for groceries and things to bring or buy. Collect from other parts of the house. So decorations you may need, or chairs. If you need more chairs, make sure you have enough chairs. Make time management plan and schedule all the party related tasks. What you're going to do at the party and where you're going to do it. If it's a Christmas, are you going to go to the Christmas tree and all sit around the Christmas tree? How are you going to be able to move things around? And what are you going to be doing with the food in the meantime? For example, you can wash any seldom used dishes or serving plates a few days before the party, shop for groceries before the party, and clean the house at least 1 to 2 hours before the party. So you have everything ready. I always want to have everything. I even decorate, and the day before even put the table settings on and decorate the table before, so I don't have to do that when I'm cooking the last. And a lot of things you can cook ahead of time. So it says, do all possible preparation for the foods you will be serving, but remember that the food must be fresh, and that some foods are unsuitable for early preparation. There's some things you can't, like if you're going to cook maybe hot potatoes or turkey. Another one coming right out of the oven is a good thing. So on the day of the party, set up the table, finish the food preparation, greet and entertain your guests, clean up, and then relax. And now you have had shown successful hospitality, and you can smile and say, thank you, Lord. So that's planning for a party. It's fun. Actually, make it fun. Don't make it, sometimes before Christmas, I'd get all worked up like, oh, I got to do all this stuff. But then I have to lay back and just allow the Lord and say, oh, this is going to be fun. And then you'll be able to decorate and prepare for Christmas in a very positive, fun way. So do all things for the glory of God.